be spiritual and not be religious? That is our question for tonight's episode. Now, my name is Victoria and I'm your host. We are going to go for a quick commercial break. When we come back, we are going to dive more into it. Welcome back from this short break. Our guests are here and we're going to introduce them. But before we do that, if it's your first time joining us over here, kindly subscribe to our YouTube channel and don't forget to like as well. Now we're going to introduce our guests. I'm going to start from my left, my far left. So our first guest, kindly introduce yourself and tell us what brought you here, what you do, and your expertise.
Okay. I am Nanako Sirichi, a voice coach. Yeah.
Okay. And
I am Johnny, Mr. Paragon.
Alright, you're welcome.
I am a facilitator and a graphic designer.
Okay, welcome. So you're gonna begin, we're gonna start into our main discussion over here. Now today's question is actually going to be a whole lot of fun and maybe uncomfortable. I wanna ask you, I'm gonna start with please your name again?
Mr. Paragon.
Paragon.
Yes.
Yeah. Can you please tell us the difference between being religious and being spiritual?
Okay, so being religious and then being spiritual, in a way they are related. They are related, in a way they are related, but there is a slight difference, or let's say a gap between them. That is, let's talk about being religious first. Now when we say someone is religious, it means that the person follows a set of beliefs, and then it's often related to a certain denomination. That is either a church, it could be a mosque, or any other form of religion. Sometimes not even in the person's particular country. But when we talk about being spiritual, it actually has to do with you being attracted to a particular force and certain your beliefs. You've made aim that I am vested trust in these beliefs, I'm doing these things, and then I am setting a standard with an aim. I want to achieve this. So that's the little I have to say about it, that a person can be religious and then not spiritual.
Okay, so if I'm getting you very well, you are saying that being spiritual is actually like a force or something?
Yes.
Okay. So it's not a human being?
No, it's a force because it's, like we say, it's not something that can be physically seen, but it depends on what you do. What you do, your actions will determine what you are expecting from that force. It's actually a belief within you, the human being. So it depends on the actions that you do that will show what you want and then where you will end up.
Okay. Now, to Richie, can you also tell us your opinion on it?
Okay. So my take on this is, let's take the religious aspect. Being religious means following an organized set of beliefs, practice, centered around a particular faith, like Christianity, Islam, then the rest. Let's come to being spiritual. Being spiritual means seeking a personal connection with something greater than yourself. Like you seek a personal connection with something greater than yourself. Maybe a deity, the supreme being greater than yourself. Do you get me? Such as the universe, nature, higher power, or inner peace, without following a structured religion. That's spirituality. You not follow a structured religion or something. It's so that's my take. That's just my take on it.
Okay, but you know, sometimes even in this world like this, people believe that when someone is religious, that means the person is spiritual. Is it actually true, or is it possible?
When someone is religious, that person is spiritual.
Actually spiritual.
As my brother said, it is these two, they are related, but they are not the same. Someone can be religious but not spiritual. So this will take you back to the time of Jesus, when Yeshua came to life. So when he came around, there was these Pharisees. These Pharisees, they studied the Bible. They knew a lot of the Bible. They knew a lot of the Word of God. They were religious, but they were not spiritual. So why am I saying this? They were religious in the sense that they knew that this is what you have to do. There is nobody aside God. But it was written that a king will come, or someone will come who will come and save us from our sins. So when Jesus came and Jesus said, He is the light, He's the King of Jews, they thought, they had this mind in them that He's come to take over because they were seen as the top people, the Christian so they thought Jesus came to fight them or came to compete with them. But if they were spiritual, they would have descended and maybe knew that no, this is the Son of God. But they had this; they were not spiritual enough. They were religious. So when you look at the book of, I think Jesus says something about them. It is written in the book of Matthew chapter 23 verse 26. Thou blind Pharisees, cleanse first that which is within the cup, and outside of them shall be made clean. Like they knew the word, they were religious, they knew this, but being spiritual to discern and know that no, this is the Son of God. So let's go to him for him to teach us. They didn't do that. Yes, so somebody can be religious and not spiritual. Yes, so we shouldn't confuse the two. You can be religious, you follow the route. Oh, Sunday come to church, I'll go to church, I'll sit down like this. We'll come and pay off now, go and pay it. But what I'm doing is not from my heart. God searches the heart. Do you get me? It's the heart that needs to communicate with God, have this convo with God. It's not the actions. The actions are part, but most of the time it's the heart. It's heart. So this story, let me continue this. Since let me continue. These two kings, Saul and David. That's why God loved David so much. He said, David is the man after my heart. He's the apple of my eye. Why? Because David was someone who said, Oye Bibi. David did a sin. Then Nathan came to him. Immediately, David accepted his sins and he confessed, oh, it's true. But Saul didn't. He was following the will of God, but he didn't. I said, one jam to me. Because of what? Because when you say, do you get me? So sometimes it's the heart and knowing that being spiritual is more about God, not the people around you. Yes. Okay. So please, that's my take on it.
Okay, so this is actually going to lead me to my next question.
Okay.
That is, why do some people identify as spiritual and not religious? So I'm going to start with Paragon.
Okay, so like I said, when I first stated the difference, in the context, I made it known that when we talk about being religious, it often has to do with belonging to a particular denomination and then also following some set of beliefs. So, firstly, it comes with you belonging to a denomination, a particular religion. That is the very popular ones we know as Christianity, Islam, and then traditional religion. That's what we know. So, you can belong to a particular religion, but with the things you do, that's what's going to determine whether you are spiritual or not. Because with the spirituality, it comes with beliefs. It comes with beliefs. You, what you do, whatever you do, should come from your heart. Like my brother said, whatever you do should come from your heart. So you are doing something. What you are doing, if your heart doesn't follow it. And then we know in our normal lives, you can relate that to our normal lives. When you are doing something and then what you are doing, your heart follows that thing. You know the amount of time you spend, the effort you make. But in this context, the effort you make, the things you do will determine whether you are spiritual or not. In our everyday lives, in our normal lives in Ghana here, there is a term that we say, a normal churchgoer. When we say a normal churchgoer, someone who just goes to church. The person studies the word though, but it's like that word that the person studies doesn't have any impact in the person's life. The person's way of life, the person's doings, these things come together and they constitute whether that person is spiritual or just religious. And then there are lots of them. All of us here, we can solely say that each and every one here is religious. But when it comes to being spiritual, our actions will determine. If we are to be put to a test here, my actions will determine, or the efforts I'll make will determine that this guy is just religious but not spiritual.
Okay. Sometimes people, you are talking about being a church goer. Yes, you have a point. That's very true. People go to church and stuff, but sometimes the moment you don't go to church, then it's like those who see you going, those who go to the church and then they see you as someone who is like, I don't know, a devil, or that kind of thing, or who would say, yeah, I don't know how to say it. Maybe I mean too more some. Yes. So what do you say about something like that?
All right. I think sometimes we need to make it. We need to broaden the scenario. We need to broaden the scenario and then look at where we are coming from. We live in a country in Africa, specifically in the Ghanaian community, where people think that being religious necessarily has to do with you going to a particular temple or a particular place to indicate or showcase to everyone that I am religious. I mean, you can be religious and then you have your set of practices in your room or in your small corner, your chamber. You are good to go. We live in a country or in a community where people think that for you to be determined as a religious person, unless we see you entering a particular place of worship before we believe that you are religious. So that's the thing. Under normal circumstance, a person can be religious and then not visit a place of worship. That is there. With traditionalists, we don't often see them. And then also one thing is that it comes down to the religions that we have here, the forms of religion we have here. We have three forms which are like at the very top. That is the traditional religion and the Islamic and then Christianity. Now people like us, and then in fact I could even conclude by saying all of us here believe that at the very top, the only religions that we will commend is Islam and then Christianity. A traditionalist, you and I, if I am not mistaken, you and I will consider traditionalists to be a devil. Oh yes. Oh yes. Yes. If someone goes to the shrine, that's a place of worship. Whatever the person is going to do there is sacred for a reason. But we think the person is a devil. People go there and get children. We know that it happens. Yeah. But we think the person is a devil. So it all comes down to what we think. The ideology or the perception has already been created in the Ghanaian community. A child thinks that a traditionalist is a devil. That's it. So if we are going to change this idea, it comes down to the way we think. We need to change the way we think. A person being religious in the first place, like I said, doesn't necessarily need to show everyone in his or a community that I enter a place of worship. No. We need to talk about these things based on the person's actions. A person can be someone who isn't religious, but the person's action can be commended. We need to focus on that instead.
Okay. Richie, what's actually your say about this?
The question again.
What's your say about this?
Oh, okay. So I'll go with. He said something. He said something. When someone goes to a church, in Tree, that's not a church. Dina it's not a church. That's in Shemudai. That's in Shemudai. That's, let me say, auditorium or something. The church is you, the human being.
Yes.
That's the church. So when you read, there's this book, Corinthians. The Bible says, Paul says something. I beseech you, brethren, that you make your bodies as a living sacrifice, which is acceptable unto the Lord. So this is the church. So, and you say you see someone going into a room, that means the person is spiritual. That's what we have in mind. Sunday bia sorry in temo, or yes say in temo, like, or the person is punctual, like, or yes say for real. It's good. And you can't say it's good. But I don't say that person is spiritual. As I said, spirituality is how you relate. It's more of the heart. It's not saying nipabe That's not Christianity. And yet saying nipabe say oh yeah or nipe so no. That's why they're saying that God is spirit, and those who worship Him must worship Him in spirit and in truth.
Okay.
You worship Him in spirit and in truth. And you said, yeah, and there's this Bible, he said he's going to reward you openly. But you go into your closet. So the things you do when nobody is around, that's what matters the most. That's the spirituality. Mostly people don't see that. People don't, it's the things you do and for how you help people out. You won't bring it out for people to see. So I help this, I did this. but maybe while we na obi or come na me boa no. That's not, we are talking about spiritual, like things maybe akumeni who ye feel akumeni yes who ye they are amanipe so also who ye be no. So any will be assured like you entering a room. There are people, they're not just church, mosques. You doing, because most let me say with Muslims you give alms and things. You're also doing some like which watching and woman could be it. Let me say it's a noun. You have to do it. It's something you are obliged to do. When you kill the animal, you divide the meat into three for the poor, for your relatives, and for you yourself. So why here? Watch it. I don't just say you are being spiritual. It's a religion, like a idea attractor. It's something they've written down. You have to do it. So you are following what they've written down, what they've scripted for you. But spirituality is when you go beyond that.
Hello viewers, it's your girl Sexy Treasure. Keep watching FK Podcast. Kindly subscribe, like and share.